Hello, everyone. Welcome to our podcast. This is our first podcast, actually. I hope you enjoy. Again, welcome to our podcast where we talked about issues that are there but aren't talked about enough. My name is MJ, and welcome to Issue Ka, the podcast. It's a working title. For today's issue, you guys, we will be talking about environmental issues. So, joining us for today's episode of this podcast are such wonderful guests. And I can't believe I invited this much for a podcast. Please welcome Danikka, Karah, Tedriq, Nathan, Kesha, and Michelle. Hi guys, kamusta mo?
Hi,
Hi,
MJ.
MJ.
Hi, MJ.
Wait, one at a time, one at a time. Kesha, let's start with Kesha. Hi, Kesh. Kamusta?
Hello, MJ. We are all doing well. How about you?
Oh, I'm doing great. I'm actually nervous, but I can do this. Okay, let's go to Nathan. Hi, Nathan. How are you?
Salutations, MJ. Glad to be on your show.
Thank you, Nathan. Next, Karah. How are you, Karah?
Ako,
Kamusta?
MJ, dili gyud ko okay. Naapektuhan magugog climate
Okay.
change. Natawa ako tingog. Paminawa ako tingog, di ba? Mura na kog singer na nawalaan og kuan gana.
I hope you get well soon, Karah. Next,
Hi MJ!
hi, Dan.
Life has been difficult lately, especially with the imminent end of the school year. However, I'm feeling a little better now that I'm focusing more on my mental health and academics simultaneously. I hope you're doing well too.
Hui, true. Oh my gosh. Okay, actually, it is our last grading in our school year. In our school, it's the last grading, and yeah, it's true. It's really difficult, because activities come like very quickly and they come simultaneously. So it's really hard to cope up with everything that is happening. But yeah, I'm same as well. I'm also doing well. Thank you, Danika. But you guys, that's not the topic. So let's go. Let's go ahead and introduce our topic. So as I said earlier, our topic is all about environmental issues. So before we start, I would like to ask someone what their insights or what's their thoughts about environmental issues. Kesha, what's your insights about environmental issues?
So now I'm going to talk about the environmental issues. So as we all know, environmental issues are the adverse impacts of human activity on the biophysical environment,
Yes.
which most commonly result in environmental deterioration.
True.
And this is the result of human-caused environment damage, and it is a worldwide, continuous issue. So in correlation to this, environmental degradation is the degradation of the environment caused by the depletion of resources such as air, water, and soil quality, ecosystem disruption, habitat loss, species extinction, and pollution. So, um, environmental degradation is defined as any alteration or disruption to the environment that is considered or deemed harmful or unpleasant. So, although natural processes can contribute to climate change, it has always been human conduct that resulted in the rise of greenhouse gases. So, we all know that climate change is a hot topic these days, but climate change has existed ever since the Industrial
Oh my
Revolution.
god, okay. Thank you, Cash. Let me add something to that. So she's right that climate change started at the Industrial Revolution because when you think of it, machines started in the Industrial Revolution, and smoke. Factories produce smoke, which can cause air pollution, which could lead to climate change. So now we're done with that. Let's go and ask for examples. Um, Who would like to give some
DMJ, I'd
oh, okay,
have
okay,
two
okay.
examples of environmental issues in mind,
Okay, go.
like climate change and biodiversity loss.
Go ahead.
Climate change is one of the most damaging environmental issues we're currently facing.
Mm-hmm.
So, I read this article online, and according to Robert Blue, June 23, 1988, marked the date on which climate change became a national issue. So, it has been going on for decades, which is concerning because it didn't get any better, but rather became even worse. So, MJ,
Yes,
you may have noticed the sudden or abnormal changes in climate over time, right?
I have.
So, that is, of course, an effect of climate change. But
Ah.
that's not only that, it also affects the weather events. It
Mm-mm.
worsens the weather events, making them more severe and disastrous. Just like that strong typhoons causing havoc in a country, for example, or even the rising of sea levels, which is alarming since our country, the Philippines, is a small archipelago. Another environmental issue is biodiversity loss. As years go by, more species and ecosystems become extinct because of human activities. You see, our necessities also come from the ecosystem, which also depends on the working biodiversity. When biodiversity dies, our needed supplies would also be scarce, which would be a very huge threat to us humans.
Correct, which is why we're doing this podcast so that people would realize that we're literally dying. The earth is dying and we need to do something about it. We can't just pretend like nothing's happened, you know? So anyone else would like to add more?
I would also like to add that the main environmental problem in our world is pollution.
Sige, sige, go.
Have you ever thought that the air could destroy life? The number one cause of pollution is the burning of fossil fuels. By burning the fossil fuels, it releases harmful substances into the air and water, such as CO2. According to the article Fossil Fuels, in 2019, around 84% of global primary energy came from coal, oil, and gas by Hannah Ritchie and Max Roser. The next environmental issue I want to talk about is deforestation. It is the cutting of trees in order to make space for industrial and residential projects. This means that less oxygen is produced, no more shelter for the animals, and climate change. The trees are a huge help to us and the world. It is the source of oxygen, it cleans up our carbon, it gives us medicine that cures us, it gives us food that feeds us.
Wow, that was so poetic. But yes, he's right. Like, trees actually help us a lot. Like, it's actually like if you think about it, trees has more help than any other thing. I guess. I guess trees. That's just my opinion. But you can have yours too. So since they have already given some examples, let us now go for possible solutions for these examples. Yes. Who would like to propose? Anyone?
MJ, I would like to propose some solutions for the two environmental issues that was mentioned.
Go ahead then.
One of the most difficult crises humanity has ever faced is climate change. Hundreds of millions of lives, countless species and ecosystems, the economy's health and viability, and the planet's future habitability are all on the line. Climate change, fortunately, is reversible. We have the necessary technology, knowledge, and the time for leadership, as well as the fortitude to shift path. Therefore, as a student seeking change for the welfare of our environment, I would like to propose solutions to this particular problem. The first is renewable energy sources. Using clean and renewable energy as our primary energy source is a great approach. Solar, wind, geothermal, and biomass energy could be one of the solutions. Second, prevent air pollution. There are several strategies for preventing, controlling, and mitigating air pollution, including lowering fossil fuel usage and restricting industrial emissions and waste. Next, waste management and recycling. Adapting our manufacturing techniques to our consumption habits is the easiest way to eliminate waste. Our consumption patterns must also take into account the recycling process. Finally, sustainable transportation. Our transportation methods must be environmentally friendly and have a low carbon impact. It is critical to rethink our transportation techniques from the design stage forward in order to achieve environmentally friendly transportation. The second environmental issue that I would like to propose solutions to is about Michelle's statement concerning biodiversity loss. The planet's biodiversity is in danger, and the main culprit is the one who, ironically, relies on it the most: humans. One of humanity's greatest problems is slowing down biodiversity loss, which is defined as the decline or absence of the variety of living things that occupy the world. On a personal level, we can all do our part to fight biodiversity loss. The question is, how? It can be through prioritizing sustainability and mobility of the food, responsible consumption and recycling practices, reducing the small actions that pollute, assisting in raising awareness of the smallest actions through environmental education, and ultimately supporting any ways aimed at protecting biodiversity. If we can modify our behaviors and implement the suggested solutions, we can help conserve biodiversity, which in return will benefit humanity's future.
Wow. Um, Thank you, Danika. Everything she said, yes. Let's go to Char. so,
Char.
Char. Kuan. Um, yes, everything she said was very, very. It's very long, so I can't, uh, I can't summarize everything she said. But all I can say is that we just need to do something. You know, like for some people it's easy to say, but it's actually hard to do. But I feel like if we help each other, that we would achieve this, you know. Okay, so since Danica mentioned Michelle's examples and gave possible solutions for those examples, I would also want someone to give possible solutions for Tedriq's examples. So if may I ask Nathan to give some possible examples for these uh, environmental issues?
Pollution is a problem we as a society have been facing for generations. It may seem like an easy problem to solve at a glance, but as of recently, it has been becoming much harder to solve. However, there are still things you can do to help. One of these things is reducing the number of trips you take in your car or just using public transportation. Another thing is saving your electricity by doing stuff like turning off appliances you don't need. You could also be consuming less while eating more organic produce and less meat. Better yet, you could start growing your own food and provide a sustainable food source for yourself. Lastly, you could raise awareness by spreading the message on your social media. Deforestation is a problem our society continues to feed. Throughout history and into modern times, our forests have been raised to make space for agriculture and animal grazing, and to obtain wood for fuel, manufacturing, and construction. It has greatly altered landscapes around the world, generally for the worst. A suggestion for this problem is to curb the felling of trees by enforcing a series of rules and laws to govern it. However, the only people who can effectively stop or at least hinder deforestation are the people who are on top, if you know what I mean. Regardless, a way you can help prevent deforestation is by using less paper or more recycled paper, or by reducing your consumption of deforestation-prone products like palm oil.
Wow. Thank you, Nathan and Danica, for those amazing ideas for possible solutions. Uh, it is very weird to have a podcast like this because, well, come to think about it, you never hear your friends talk about stuff like these, you know? Like, it's so, I don't know what's the word, but like it's kind of weird and kind of refreshing at the same time because we get to a point where, I mean, like when you talk to your friends, it's more of like sarcasm and stuff, and just more about what's going on with your lives. But there's like this, it comes to a point where we go to serious mode. And I never heard someone talk about these stuff, about what's happening with the earth. It's more on like politics, family problems, but we'll get to that sooner, because we're all about environmental issues right now. So, um, so would anyone like to add anything? Kara, I haven't heard from you since since the beginning of this podcast. So, Kara, would you like to add anything?
Since we're tackling about much about these topics, I think it best that we should be made aware of the current local environmental issues that have popped up in Dumaguete.
Your mic is very loud, actually, so can you fix it quickly? And are you talking about the 174 Smart City?
Yes, exactly.
OMG, okay, can't wait. Okay, continue.
The reason this issue is highly concerning, especially to us citizens who live here, is because, open quote, the project will literally destroy, literally bury the few remaining coral reef,
I
seagrass, and
know.
soft sediment ecosystem underneath the Dumaguete
It's so sad.
seas,
Sorry, continue.
as quoted by the Silman University Institute of Environmental and Marine Sciences. And as we all know, Dumaguete, despite its modernity, is inherently a coastal city. Continuing such project could endanger marine life, which might be irreversible damage. That could endanger the livelihoods of the fishermen and the future of the city. Moreover, such man-made islands are prone to geohazards such as flooding, storm surges, and land subsidence. The government should not invest in individualistic and detrimental methods. Instead, they should focus on the urban problems that we are currently facing. They should only ever consider projects that are green, world-class, and lasting, so as to help our earth replenish. That is why thousands of people, especially the citizens, have signed a petition to say no to the 174 hectare reclamation project. Hopefully, as a city, we'll get past this together.
Exactly. I recall signing one at our church, and believe me when I say that the list was indeed long.
Oh my
It
god.
truly saddens me that some people would prioritize their own greed over the betterment and development of our country.
Oh my god. Actually, it also makes me sad to think that, they would think of, you know, putting up a city instead of, focusing on what's on the city, like what's on a real island and not. But I guess they have their own reasons, but we still need to focus on what is truly happening. Like they shouldn't be, doing that. Why would they make a new city when there already is a city? They can just, add more stuff in the city. Anyways, before we end, let's do a quick game of wit and make an acrostic out of the
Char, our
word.
talents will be exposed.
Sorry, guys, it's my time to shine.
Is it just me or did I hear my sweet victory?
Wait.
Dear host, I didn't hear any instruction for the connection is slow. Can I leave without any distraction?
Dan, behave.
Char.
Oh my god. I love the enthusiasm you guys are giving, but please humble yourselves since we are about to begin our activity. Are you guys all set?
Yes, sir. Woo.
Okay, so si Danikka. Okay, so the chosen word is unite. So here's the arrangement. So first si Nathan, then followed by Kesha, Tedriq, Karah, and then Michelle. Go.
You understand the level of risk we're facing.
Sure. Pasunod ha. Sige, padayon.
N. Never sit and listen, for our environment is dying.
Sure.
I, instead, use your voice to encourage the youth.
Wow. Padayon.
T, to bring forth positive change and to do what is right.
Charan.
E. Every one of us should unite to make our futures bright.
Uy, tsada lang ito. Okay.
Excuse me,
Oh.
dear host. You forgot about
Ay,
me.
done na ko, Dick. Deserve, Char.
I'm hurt.
Okay, ani na lang. To end our session, do you have any final words?
Well, sure. It seems like I don't have any other choice. Let me end with a quote by Barack Obama. This is the moment when we must come together to save this planet. Let us resolve that we will not leave our children a world where the oceans rise and famine spreads and terrible storms devastate our lands.
Ikaw na po, Char. So, we have finally reached the end of our podcast. So, may I request our guests to introduce themselves one last time? Introducing their websites also for our listeners to visit.
Once again, I am Danikka BHP Tuble, and you can find my website entitled Join the Fight, Do What's Right at tubledanika0.wixsite.com.
I am Nathaniel Balog, and you can visit me on my site at kingxs7.wixsite.com/Cedar Advisories.
I am Kesha Garcia, and you can visit my website at keshachalangarcia at wixsite.com/gogreenenvironment.org. Thank you so much.
I am Michelle and Francine C. Fernando. You can check my website at https://katsudan101.wixsite.com.
I am Tedriq Alfonse, and you can visit my website at poncesenvironmentalsolution@gmail.com. Thank you so much for having me.
I am Karah Team, and you can visit me at https://aldezakara.wixsite.com/website.
You can also check out my website at mjdelacruz03z.wixsite.com/environmental issues. Don't worry, you guys, I will put their links down below so you can go through it. And I would also like to thank the guests for joining me for this podcast. Again, this is a podcast where we talk about issues that are there but aren't talked about enough. I am your host, Mark Joseph R. De La Cruz, and this is Ishuka, the podcast. Thank you for listening. Bye.